we're going to make a chart to record the data for what happened to the length of a rubber band when we put different mass sizes on it. In this column, we always put the variable that we change. So in this case, it was the masses on the rubber band. Now don't forget your units, which happens to be grams. I changed my masses in 100 gram increments. You could choose to go up in 200 gram increments or even 300 gram increments. If you went 200, you'd be 200, 400, 600, 800, 1000. If you went up in 300s, you were 300, 600, 900, 1200, 1500. You've already pre-made that decision. Across here, we're going to put the number of repeats. So we had 4 repeats for each of the different masses of the different trials. So there's our rows for 4 repeats, and then at the end we average. I need to know what the 1, 2, 3, 4 stand for. This is the dependent variable or the measured variable. We measured the length of the rubber band. And our units in my first case was centimetres, but you could have measured it in millimetres. What we want to do now is we want to put the borders around our table. So we select our whole table by holding the mouse down and clicking and dragging. We can click in this cell, hold down the shift key and use the right arrow to go across, and then the down arrow to go down. For borders, we come to the border button. If you can't see it, there could be 3 vertical dots, and you click on the 3 vertical dots and it will expand this menu. So borders, this gives us the colour, which we want to be as black. This gives us our line thickness, and we want it to be thin, and we want all the borders to be all over the place. So there's our borders. I want these 2 cells to look like this. So I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to come to the merge, and I can merge the cells, and now they're one. I can't still see the end of this rubber band, so I'm going to come to here and I'm going to wrap my text, and now I can see everything. I also want this text to be centered over these cells, so I select in this cell, drag across to highlight, or select in the cell, shift key, right key to go across, and now I merge. If I change my mind later, I can just select the cell and unmerge it again. I also like everything to be in the middle, so we drag and select all the cells and come to the alignment button and we go center. I'm going to pause the video now and put in my data, and while I do that, you go and do the same for you. Now we're going to do our formulas. All formulas in a table starts with equal sign. We open the brackets because we want to add a few things together. So we want to include this cell and then the shift plus key, click in the next trial, shift plus key, click in the next repeat, shift plus, and then the last, and we don't go shift plus, we want to close the bracket. We're going to divide by, and we're adding 4 cells together, so we divide by 4 and go enter. Now sometimes it will pop up with this auto fill, which means it's taken this formula and it's applying to all the cells down below. So we can go yes, but before we do that, we want to check that it's correct. So this has got 23.8. We want to see, is that in between our lowest number, which is 23.7, and our highest number, which is 24. So it is. So it has averaged correctly, so we go yes. I now want to, I've got a mixture of 3 decimal places, 1 decimal place, and no decimal place, so I want them all to be the same. So I select all my cells, and I come up here, I decrease my decimal places, and there we've all got them to 1. Okay, the other thing I want to do while I'm looking at it, I can see there's a thicker line around here, so I want to outline my results. So I come back to my border button, and I come down to line thickness and make it a bit bigger, and I go not all borders, we want to go left border, and then we want to go right border. Okay, and that is our table. Now what we're going to do is put our table into our results, into our report. Now to snip, we want to come down to the snipping tool. So we come down to the magnifying glass, or it could be a white line, and we type snip. This is going to open up our snipping tool. With our snipping tool, when we click new, our screen will go dark, and we can then click and drag and hold. And that has put a copy of our snipping tool on the clipboard. We go back to our post and open up our PDF where we're going to paste our results table. We want to open this with Cami. Cami allows us to type onto our PDF and fill it in as though it was a normal document. Very, very wonderful invention by the people at Auckland University in New Zealand. Alright, so we scroll down when this is finally loaded to where I'm going to put my results table, and here's my results table. So I just click and go Ctrl+v, and I will paste. Okay, Ctrl+v, and here's my table. So I want to move them. Okay, let's try and put them here. Ctrl+v. Don't you just love it when things don't work? Let's go a bit higher. Ctrl+v. Alright, there he goes, is on the same page. Alright, here's my results table. Finally in and moved about. Okay, the next thing you do is you head off and make the graph. But before you do that, you want to make certain you've saved everything. So click on the little disc, come down. It doesn't say it's saved, so we'll save changes. And you've got to wait and wait. And when it's saved changes, then you can close your Cami document. The next video will show you how to make the graph.